A.J. Brown is swole Batman. Devonta Smith is skinny Batman. And Quez Watkins is fast Batman. That makes Jalen Reagor the Penguin. Dallas still stinks. You're by the way, King Ding back here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So the Eagles got swole Batman. They got slim Batman. They got fast Batman. And the Vikings got the Penguin. And he can't catch. And guess what? Nick Sirianni is saying that Howie Roseman isn't in on the game plans. I gotta tell you, I'm not buying it. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure to like. More importantly, make sure to subscribe for daily Eagles stuff, NFL stuff. We stream every Eagles game as well as other games. I will be live tonight. Chargers, Chiefs. That is going to be a fantastic game. And if you've been subscribed for a while, you know the deal. Just double check. Double moonwalk check. And make sure you're still subscribed. Alright, there's a lot to get in on this whole thing, okay? So, I thought it was hilarious today. Darius Slay, he's sitting there at the press conference, and they're talking about the receivers, right? And he's talking about, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Quez, and he has a nickname for all of them. He said, A.J. Brown is swole Batman. Devonta Smith is slim Batman. And Quez Watkins is fast Batman. And they don't have a Robin because they don't need a sidekick. I thought that was a fantastic quote, right? It fits all three guys perfectly. And when he said it, all I could think about was, what was Jalen Reagor when he was on the team? He had to be the Penguin, right? He walks like this. He's got those stupid hands, can't catch shit. I have a fantasy. Now I'm going to tell you, day before my preview video comes out, I have this fantasy I can't stop thinking about when it comes to this game. I have this vision, and it's clear as day, and I close my eyes and I can see it happening. It's 21-21, fourth quarter. There's about a minute 36 left. The Eagles are forced to punt. So they're punting at about their 40-yard line. They punt the ball. Back, Jalen Reagor goes for the fair catch. Goes to catch it. Drops it through his hands, fumbles, Eagles recover, run the clock down, kick the game-winning field goal, Eagles win. Thank you, Jalen Reagor, you stink. That's my fantasy. That is something that we want to happen. But I could totally see it. Jalen Reagor wants revenge. Come bring it, dude. That's all I can tell him. Come bring it. Okay? He's gonna be amped up. If he has the career year of his life, it would never happen again. This is it. This is his Super Bowl. It'll never happen again. But it ain't going to happen this way. He is going to give up something big for the Philadelphia Eagles. You watch. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I'll tell you what. I think Devonta Smith's going to have a huge game. I think Devonta Smith always texting me when I'm speaking. But I think Devonta Smith is going to go out there and have a big game. I took some time last night. I watched all 22, right? And I just focused the whole thing on Devonta Smith. And I got to tell you, there was about, I would say, 5-6 times I thought he was pretty open, right? 3 of those times, I would say that there was no way Hurts could get him the ball because there was too much pressure. He had to get away from it. And he was running the other way, the opposite way or whatever. There was maybe 2 or 3 times he could have gone to him and he chose not to for whatever reason. And then I would say there were a couple times where he had one-on-one coverage and you could have took a shot and gave him a chance to go up and get the ball. But for the most part, that was it. It wasn't as bad as we saw last year on film where he was just running open after play after play after play and they're not getting the ball. It wasn't that bad. So Devonta Smith's going to have to be better. They're going to have to find a way to get him the ball. He's going to have to be patient, and he's going to have to go out there and do his thing. Devonta Smith's a stud. There's no question. The one guy on this team that people are worried about this week, the one thing, Devonta Smith, it's the thing that I'm least worried about going into this football game. Devonta Smith will be fine. Now, if let's say we're talking week 4, and it's week 4, and Devonta Smith has 15 catches on the year, all right, then you know what? Then we got to figure out what's going on. I think that Devonta will be fine. I think, of course, they should have tried to get him involved more. No question about it. I blame the coaches for that. But, sometimes things just work the way that they work. It seemed like early and often when Detroit was bringing extra pressure and the pressure was bothering Eagles, when they started running those slants. And they started running those slants to A.J. Brown, and it was working. So I just think it was one of those things I think that people don't need to worry about. I think Devonta Smith will be fine. I think he's going to have a pretty good game. You got to think Minnesota is going to be focusing on A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, A.J. Brown, A.J. Brown. And it should open up some things for Goddard, for Devonta Smith. I think you should have a couple planned plays where you're trying to hit Quez Watkins downfield, take advantage of his speed. There's a lot that the Eagles could do better. No question about it. But like I said yesterday, my issues are not so much with this offense. I feel like the things that they got wrong or did wrong, I think they can straighten out. The problem I have is on defense with Jonathan Gannon, because to me, it looks like he looks at things as his scheme, what he likes to do over the talent he has. I have to go back and watch the All-22 specifically on the defense. I watched a little bit of it, and to me, it was crap. It was crap, especially the four that he was rushing. It wasn't like hard for Detroit to pick up. There was no stunts. There was really nothing they were doing to try to get pressure. So yeah, I think Jonathan Gannon is the worst case scenario out of this whole thing. Okay, he's what scares me. The defense is what scares me. But hopefully he's heard enough crap this week that they rise up. They come out Monday night at home, pumped up, and they take it to Kirk Cousins. Hit Kirk Cousins early in this game, and hit him, knock him on his ass. You're going to rattle the guy the whole game. You could rattle Kirk Cousins early and it'll throw him off the rest of the game. But you got to get to him. So it's going to be interesting. Slay and that secondary is going to have their hands full with Justin Jefferson. I think Jefferson goes out. I think he's going to get his yards. There's nothing you can do about it. You just want to limit it. And and it's the way it is. But I feel good about this game. I got a good feeling. Home opener, Monday Night Football. It's going to be good. And I know there's a lot of talk today about Nick Sirianni. And Nick Sirianni was talking about Howie Roseman, right? And here's one of the things, a couple things he said about it, right? He says, and this was Nick Sirianni. He says, we have Howie's support, and he just wants to help us do our job as best we can do. And that's how he helps us in that aspect. And he's talking about Howie Roseman being there because they got to tell him, basically, they go to Howie and say what players they need called up, what's the roster's going to look like during the week, right? Which, fine. You don't need Howie sitting in there on a meeting. Just call him up on the phone. Just send a note up with the names. Send him an email. These are the guys we need up. And then he said this. He followed up with this. The head coach followed up by saying they discuss everything, so it's not entirely a one-way conversation with the roster moves they want to make. But at the end of the day, I have to say who's up on game day, meaning that Nick Sirianni is saying who's up, who they're bringing up from the roster, and what we need. He's not sitting in there, game planning with us either. So he's saying Howie Roseman is not game planning with them. He is not in their game planning. Now, maybe he's not in there game planning, but maybe he's sitting there watching. Okay, I'm not buying it. I got to tell you, I don't. I'm very skeptical because, one, if Howie's not doing it and it's not a big deal, then why are you even bringing this up? Why is this even something you feel you have to really address in a press conference? I even if the question comes, I would have been like, that's ridiculous. No. I mean, keep it short. Why you have to talk about it? And here's the other thing. And this is the other reason why I'm not buying it. We know when Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning champion coach, was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, he had to have weekly meetings with Howie Roseman, with Jeffrey Lurie, it was every Tuesday, and they would say, hey, great job, you won the game, but why did you run so much? Why didn't you pass more here? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And Doug didn't like it. Who would like that? But it happened. It happened over and over again. So to me, I'm sorry, I'm just a little skeptical about this. I think Jonathan Gannon slipped. He said he's in on the meetings because he is. And then the Eagles at the press conference today are trying to basically save face. They're trying to basically get ahead of this so it doesn't become a bigger deal or anything like that. And they're making a big deal of it. And it's not a big deal. All they had to do was say, somebody asked Nick Sirianni the question and say, no, that's ridiculous. He's not game planning with us. He does his own thing. We tell him who we need called up, who we don't. That's it. I get the feeling, I feel like the Eagles were trying to basically get ahead of this. I think it slipped out of Jonathan Gannon's mouth, and then the Eagles had to get ahead of it. We'll see. It's going to be interesting no matter what. The key to the whole thing, and listen, I got to tell you this. I don't understand why the Eagles did Doug Peterson the way they did with, having to ask him why he's not throwing more, all this kind of stuff. I don't understand that, but I kind of get, and I got to say this, I kind of get how he's sitting on a game planning of Jonathan Gannon. He don't trust him. He don't trust him. How can anybody trust this guy based on what we've seen the last 2 years? So if there's anybody that Howie Roseman is going to actually sit on a meeting and figure out what their game plan is going to be, it's Jonathan Gannon. Why is Vic Fangio around? Because it's trying to put pressure on Gannon. You better do it or you're out of here. So, in one aspect, I don't like sitting in on game plan, but I got to give it to Howie. If you're going to do it to anybody, you do it to Jonathan Gannon. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. I will be streaming Chargers Chiefs. Come hang out. Take care. And remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Oh man, wouldn't that be great if Reagor just screwed the whole game up and the Eagles win because of Reagor? Like, that would be the greatest thing ever. I hope it happens. We're going to make it happen. We're not going to go as far as like Mark Holmes' chicken sacrifices because we're not the Dallas Cowboys with that satanic star. No way in hell. We have the greatest logo ever. Old one. We got to bring it back. With that said, Denzel Washington out.